Welcome to Main Street Media TV and the Public Square. We're here tonight at the Lancaster City Council meeting. There's a couple of things of interest on the agenda tonight. They will be discussing replacing the water meters, as well as we want to let you know that there is a countywide or citywide yard sale this weekend, August 6th through 9th. So stay tuned. We'll be back with the Public Square broadcast of the Lancaster City Council meeting, brought to you by Graceland Air and Garrett Chamber of Commerce.
Bob Allen is Danville's Dealmaker. Save more on Bob Allen's winning selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Shop on lot or online at boballenmotormall.com. Bob Allen is a proud sponsor of Garrett County Athletics.
Here we believe in more than just banking, we believe in building legacies.
We're here to walk alongside you, on the field, in the stands, and in life.
Supporting Garrett County Athletics means investing in our future leaders.
First Southern National Bank, financial wisdom, flourishing lives.
Allison is hiring. Big benefits, real growth, and a team that sees you in our future. Apply now. On Facebook, give us a call or just stop in. Allison Abrasives. Opportunity starts here.
The Garrett County Chamber of Commerce, where business meets community. Business and community members alike can get involved, stay informed, and take advantage of helpful insights. Supporting local means a healthier community. Sound good? Then the Garrett County Chamber of Commerce is for you.
At Danville Office Equipment, schools and businesses, large and small, count on us every day. And so can you.
We're proud to be your trusted partner, providing office solutions and supplies built on service, a smart approach, and great teamwork. Danville Office Equipment, Danville, Lebanon, and Somerset.
At Farmers National Bank, our roots run deep in this community, cultivating opportunities and personal and business growth with people you know and know what's important to you. Farmers National Bank, your lifetime bank.
Faces you know, a name you can trust. Weichert Realtors, Ford Brothers Auctioneers. From auctions to dream homes, farms to business properties, no one knows the area better. Weichert Realtors, Ford Brothers Auctioneers in Lancaster can help you.
Welcome to Katie Farthing State Farm,
where personal service is alive and well.
Not just a policy, help when it matters most.
So, what can we do for you? Your needs, your coverage, Katie Farthing State Farm.
Buy local, eat well at Marks Berry Farm.
We're growing and we need you.
Great people.
Great job.
Come be part of our exciting future.
Come taste for yourself or shop online. See our story at marksberryfarm.com.
At Central Kentucky Federal Savings Bank, we understand the meaning of commitment, hard work, and extra effort. Just like our Golden and Lady Lion teams, we're proud to be part of the tradition that makes our community special. Central Kentucky Federal Savings Bank, your hometown friends, your hometown bank.
Safe, secure, Docubit. Introducing DataBot, a precision digital destruction tool that protects your confidentiality and allows for sustainable device recycling. Secure document and digital destruction by the area's premier data protection service. Call Docubit.
Nothing beats the hometown taste of Lee's famous recipe in Lancaster. Go Lions!
Central Kentucky Ag Credit, your hometown team for farm, land, and operating loans. And yes, we're your home loan lender too. Buying or building your dream home in the country? We've got you covered. Find us online at agcreditonline.com.
Choosing the right realtor is like sinking the winning shot or scoring the game-winning run. If you're buying or selling real estate in Garrett or Central Kentucky, give me, Whitney Ellis, a call for the win. Good luck to the Golden Lions and Cougars this season.
Sutton Pharmacy.
Free delivery, easy in and out vaccinations, locally owned. Now that's what I call a hometown pharmacy.
Sutton Pharmacy. Friendly service from people you know.
Founded by Kentuckians for Kentuckians. At Whitaker Bank, we believe strong communities start with people who care. Everyday banking to planning for your future. You can trust our team to reach your financial goals. Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky. Member FDIC. You're watching the Golden Lions Sports Network.
Again, welcome to this Monday night's council meeting. Basically, all council members are present. Mr. Gibson, sir, if you don't mind, if you would say a prayer for us this evening.
Father in heaven, we just thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to come to the city council tonight, Lord. We just pray for our council. Just pray that you give them wisdom and discernment. Just watch over us and guide us in all things. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sherry, would you mind to lead us in the pledge, or Chief, if you'd mind to lead us in the pledge this evening, whichever one.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, sir. All right, council, we had a chance to look over the minutes from the meetings we had in July. And if no questions, do I hear a motion to approve? So moved. Well, there's a motion on the table by Brandon. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Micah. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. Have you all a chance to look over the financial report? And if no questions, do I hear a motion to approve? So moved. Motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. We didn't have anybody signed up for community presentation this evening, but I do know I asked Mr. Gibson if he would come and share with us what's been going on behalf of the Homeless Coalition and the shelter that they have going on down there. So, sir, if you want to come up and just kind of give us a little bit of information about what's going on, I'd be happy to hear it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Just want to give you a little update on what's going on at the shelter. We're in our second year of operation now. In the last 12 months, we've served 133 Gary Countyans, for those here in emergency situation. In July alone, we served 556 meals, individual meals. And last night, we had 14 people at the shelter. 4 women, 6 children, and 4 men. We're here tonight just to ask for your continued support. We just thank you for what you've done to this point, and we hope that you'll see value in what we do and continue to support us in times to come. Do y'all have any questions for me?
I don't. Council members, y'all have any questions for him? I will say, I think you are doing great work. And what you all have done down there. The facility is beautiful. You all have the playground and a few different things down there for the kids that end up staying with you all at time to time. So I do think that you all have something really good going on down there, and I think it's a benefit to the community.
Thank you.
And we budgeted the same amount.
Yes, sir. We did. We did. Yes, sir.
Just for the record, those funds will be used in direct support of the homeless. It may be food, medication, whatever their needs are. That's where the money goes.
That's great.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming and giving us a little bit of an update.
Good day.
Thank you. All right, now we'll open it up to public comment this evening. Anybody that's here that would like to make public comment, if you wouldn't mind, come up to the podium, state your name, and then kind of let us know why you're here, and then if you don't mind, take about 3 minutes or so, and then we can move on to the next individual that may be here as well.
All right, my name is Cody Lester, and I just wanted to share with the council my serious concerns about the flock cameras in our community. Please keep in mind, as I share my concerns, I'm not impugning anyone's motives at all. I've talked to the mayor about it, so I understand, the thinking behind it. I also apologize for being late to this conversation, but I've only recently started researching how these things work, and what I find with how they operate is somewhat disturbing to me. After understanding how they work, I've come to the conclusion that these are an invasion of privacy. I believe they're unconstitutional, and they also leave normal everyday citizens such as myself vulnerable to stalking and or government tyranny. I first want to argue their unconstitutionality using a case, United States versus Maynard. In 2012, a DC Circuit Court ruled the use of prolonged GPS tracking on a single vehicle was unconstitutional. The tracker was placed on a vehicle belonging to Antoine Jones, who was a cocaine dealer. It collected data for 28 days and produced over 2,000 pages of data on his public movements. The defense argued this was a gross violation of any reasonable expectation of privacy under our Fourth Amendment. And that decision, or that argument, was upheld by the judge in the case. And this is what he said, I'll quote, "The whole of a person's movements over the course of a month is not actually exposed to the public because the likelihood a stranger would observe all those movements is not just remote, it is essentially nil. It is one thing for a passerby to observe or even to follow someone during a single journey as he goes to the market or returns home from work. It is another thing entirely for that stranger to pick up the scent again the next day and the day after that, week in and week out, dogging his prey until he has identified all the places, people, amusements, and chores that make up that person's hitherto private routine." And this case, it has a direct and very obvious connection, I think, to the flock system in general, since these cameras go well beyond the lines crossed in this case by tracking a month's worth of data on every single citizen, not just one, and not someone who's being investigated. And it also uses AI to identify not just our license plates, but even various identifying features of our vehicles. And it has an interconnected web of cameras that pattern our everyday movements. Because if you have access to one camera, you have access to the whole network, as I understand it. Later Supreme Court opinions on the Maynard case agree with these violations that were articulated by the defense and the judge. I agree with these concerns, and many of our citizens share these concerns. And I ask the council to consider if it shares these concerns. And how do these cameras exist under our Fourth Amendment? And how do you uphold your oath to uphold the Constitution while these cameras are in use in our community? There's also been many documented abuses and misuses of the data associated with flock cameras. I've got a list, but I'm just going to read one of my points. Georgia has had a slew of documented cases. 3 Cherokee County sheriffs, 5 Albany police officers, 4 Richmond County deputies, including one who searched his ex's plate 1,600 times, etc. I got a list here, but I'm just going to move on. So let's see. So just consider the question as to why these officers, because they're getting arrested, fired, reprimanded, why is that the case? Why are they being tried in a court of law? If tracking this data isn't a violation of privacy, then why is accessing it? If this is all simply publicly gathered information, then why are there consequences for the officers? And if the victims have nothing to hide, as many people argue, then why are these officers being dismissed? It is because gathering a mosaic image of your travel patterns is inherently an invasion of your privacy. I also have concerns related to building a surveillance state from which we cannot escape. Without the protection of privacy, we become vulnerable to government tyranny should the wrong people obtain political power or the wrong policies become enacted. And for all these reasons, I'm asking the council to just logically think through the concerns and questions I've raised, and I'm asking the council to uphold my right to privacy under the Fourth Amendment, and I personally would like to see these removed from our community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Christian,
Sure.
if I can. You were talking about what's the location, and are there any complaints of abuse?
Not locally. No, not locally.
Not locally.
Right. Nothing I know of locally.
They're on the 27, the 2 that we have.
The 2, I don't know which 2 the city has. I know
There's 5 in the county.
total.
One on 52, 18.
There's 2 on 52.
Tanner.
That's the city. Okay.
I did not.
So there's one on 52 that's the cities, and one on, what do you say, 27?
27 southbound.
Okay, yeah. Next to Hubble, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where's the one on 52 located?
There's one as you come up, if you're coming from Bull County into Garrett County, as you pass the quarry and you're coming up the hill, go around the curve, it's right to your right before you get to the old trailer sale spot that was on the left. It's got a little solar panel on it. So it's right in that curve. There's a house trailer sits over the right, and there's a new home and a barn over beside it. But yeah, there's 5 across the county. 2 of them are the cities. The other 3 are the sheriff's department.
I want to make sure I'm on microphone. I'm going to switch this. I apologize if I was on this council when we passed this. I was not aware of flock cameras, of the Fourth Amendment issues. that they impose. Now that I'm wholly against them. I do believe that we should take them down. And I'd like to paraphrase Benjamin Franklin: "Those who sacrifice liberty for temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." And so I appreciate you bringing that to our attention.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Anybody else here this evening for public comment? Okay, Mr. Renton.
Name is John Renton, former mayor of the city of Lancaster from 07 through 11. I just have some straightforward questions for the mayor. And you can answer them or not answer them. The general fund for last year showed a deficit of $147,966.70 in the police department. I don't see or have heard of any budget adjustments that were done. So where did that money come from to pay that deficit?
From the general fund. There was not a deficit in the general fund. The general fund actually had a surplus.
Okay, but that specific fund had a deficit.
Those specific percentages, yes, but the total fund itself had no deficit.
Okay. What about the fire department? Same as the fire department, $30,000?
Same answer.
Okay. When is the audit for the 25 fiscal year going to be presented to the council?
When the auditors get it complete. We submitted the proper paperwork. Unfortunately, we can't make the auditors go faster per KRS. As long as we submit the proper paperwork, then we have up to 18 months to get that audit complete.
Okay.
And I believe your last statement was that we had asked for a 6 months extension, which puts it all the way up to January 1, 27.
Correct. You can go, but you can go up to 18 months, and we can't make them go faster. So we get the audit when they get it completed.
Okay, so you basically passed the budget with no current audit.
We passed a budget based on our operating budget, which is how the city operates on the budget.
Okay,
we don't operate on the audit.
The 24 audit showed a deficit in the general fund of $329,394.
From most of that came from grants that came through the water department that wasn't realized in the general fund.
But that's...
And if you look at the 10 years prior to that, it says the exact same thing every year in the audit.
Well, I'm just really concerned because you all sitting here making major purchases that the taxpayer's going to have to pay for, like lights at the ballpark.
Right.
I personally run a business.
Right.
I can't go out and make a large purchase without knowing where I stand financially.
Right.
You're living off numbers that you state are correct, but the auditor is not agreeing with those numbers. Right now, you won't have a budget done for the 25 fiscal year till sometime in December or January. The 26 budget is due in February, so you're going to have to ask for an extension on that one again. So for any major institution that's going to ask the city, you're going to ask to borrow money from, they're going to ask for 3 audit reports. You don't have 3 audit reports to give them.
We have everything leading up to this most recent year to give them.
But then they're not going to want the most recent, they're going to want current
They're going to want the
financial.
most 3 of recent available audits. That's how that usually works.
So you're gonna
Available.
Yeah, but that's not showing a true statement of where you're at. I mean, I'm looking at, I called the sheriff's department today, asked him what his budget was for the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
What do you think the budget is for the sheriff's department?
850,000.
1.2 million. He has 20 individuals that work for him. And he covers the whole county of 18,000 people. You all approved a $2.2 million budget for the city police. This only has 3,000 people by the last 2020 census. Now you're saying 4,200 by your thing on Facebook. I'm going by the census report. Census report says over 3,300 people in the city in 2020. I just don't see correlation between 2.2 million and 1.2, 18,000 people in the whole county and 28 miles of paved streets in the city limits.
Yeah. How many of those sheriff's employees are special deputies that only get?
He has 8 full-time officers, 1 detective,
Okay.
and he has 20, a total of 20 people. The rest of it is court security.
Okay. So does court security come out of his budget, or does it
No,
come
it comes out of his
the-
budget.
Okay.
So he has 20 people on his payroll. I mean, it just doesn't make I just can't add the figures up in my head and see where the city, I mean, from past history of the budget.
How much of that police budget, from an income perspective, is going to come back? So you're talking about the 2.2 expenditure, but how much of that income is projected to come in of that 2.2 million that's projected to be an expense?
Let's look at your short form. I don't have the new one. This one was the one that showed you over for the last year.
Give us the income on police economy.
It does. You can add it up. It's about $1 million.
Yeah.
From an income perspective, maybe $1.1 million.
Okay.
I'll follow up on one statement that Don made about the last 3 years of audit. And one of our bids tonight for the lights, one of the local banks that handles our funds says final approval is contingent on a satisfactory review of the last 3 years of audited financial statements for the city of Main Street.
Well, I think personally, I made sure that the council got the figures. The council should be seeing the actual bank balances at the end of every month before they make any voting on any budget or any expenditures. Also, what is the total amount of outlay of payables that you still have to pay out every month that are sitting there that has to come out of each fund?
Mm-hmm.
That's the information these people need. Because I looked at Facebook and I don't agree with everything on Facebook about the water. I know the water has gone up. I know the cost of water has gone up. I mean, I understand that. But I can't see as a business owner spending $600,000 if I don't know what my bank book is. And what I project my bank book is going to bring in over the next couple of years so I can pay that off. I can't do that to my family. I won't do it to my family.
So we operate on the budget. That's how the city operates.
I understand that because I'm the one that made this budget.
I understand that. 10, 15 years ago.
10 years ago, but it was made on my term.
Things have significantly changed.
The only thing that changed, Michael, it's not semantic. The only thing that changed in this is the amount of money, line items that you bring in.
Right.
And the money that you spend.
Right.
These items have not changed.
In the last 2 years, we've been in the positive.
You're saying that, but there's no audit report to state that.
So when you look at the audit, it's going to look at none of the grant funding comes through the budget. So
Exactly.
when you look at the audit, it's going to show that you overspent your budget. It's not going to say that you didn't have the money to cover it. It's going to say you overspent your budget. If your budget is $1 and you spend $2, it's going to say you overspent your budget by $1. But we have not. So we have covered, since I've been in office, we've covered all of our bills. And we continue to cover our bills.
Are you holding bills because you don't have the money to pay them?
No. We pay our bills since I've been in office.
I'm just saying.
And the last 2 years, we've had a surplus.
What I'm saying,
in
the
our
final
budget.
sheet of the legal audit that
Right.
the state receives shows where you stand. The condition of the city.
Totally.
24 budget
Right.
showed you all were in poor financial shape.
But saying you overspent your budget doesn't say you didn't have the money not to pay.
You can spend it any way you want to spend.
That's not a
it.
spin. That's
I'm telling
that's
you
what
that.
our auditor said to us a few months ago when he was here.
But he asked, back in November last year when I was here, I think it was in Downwaters, and Mr. Norton asked him what the condition of the city was. He stated poor. I don't see it getting any better if you're spending the money you're spending. I mean, I hate to downphrase myself because I was a sailor, but you spend money like a drunken sailor. And it just doesn't make sense to me. I know the citizens of the city. I work on cars. I work on a lot of the people's vehicles from this city.
Right.
They're making it from payday to payday. And everything's going up. I'm not blaming you all because it does. It's just part of life.
Right.
But you can't justify spending $600,000 for lights at a ballpark that doesn't bring in any substantial amount of money to the city. Without even at least going to the county and say, hey, fiscal court, are you willing to help us on this? Because I bet you if you take an audit of how many people go to that park, I'd say 60% of them are probably county residents. It used to be a joint city-county park.
Mm-hmm.
I know they give you roughly $30,000 a year, which doesn't nowhere near cover the cost of that park.
Right.
So I'm just asking you all, as citizens that you're representing, you don't represent me, I live in the county. But I still have in my heart, I worked here for 4 years. And I did the first 4 years of my life was probably the mayor of the city because I replaced God-loving Mayor Moss, who had been mayor for 37 years. But you all just making decisions, just like, I'm gonna go one other thing, and I'm going to quit. The city hall, you all sold it last September, October. You're rolling it up to that time frame now. And you all still have not heard of any guaranteed plan of where you're gonna move and how much it's gonna cost you to move to wherever you're going. You just keep kicking these cans down the road. That's not what you're here to do, is kick cans down the road. You're here to make this financial decisions for the well-being of the people of this city. And that's what I expect you all to do and think about what you're doing in the near future. Some of you, I'm sorry, sir, you just got on here. You've taken abuse, I'm giving abuse to everybody, but you just got here. But the rest of you have been here for a while, and you need to think about what you're doing for the taxpayers. Thank you very much for your time.
Anybody else here for public comment this evening?
Well, our computer system has the ability to give us, this council, the account in every balance.
It does, just like it has for the past, however many years that hasn't been done in the past.
Well, we did it at one point, but yeah, we can do that.
We can do that, yeah, but it's not been done in at least 10 years. But yeah, I mean, that is something that we can do, absolutely. But what those balances don't show you, I mean, your budget sheet's going to show you your income and your expenditure. It's going to be usually about 2 to 4 weeks behind. But you may have a snapshot of a balance sheet on your accounts, but it's not going to show you this is going out, this is coming in. It'll show you whenever that is printed, that's the picture of what's in the bank, just like your personal account. You may have sent a check out that could make your balance negative, but you may show whatever number in a bank account. So it's not going to be a true picture of what your actual bank accounts are.
But it would tell us how much is in each account at a particular day.
At that snapshot in time, yes, it would. But again, that's not something that has been done for years. But that's something that we absolutely can start doing.
One thing I do agree with Don about is kicking the can down the road on where we're going to be going. I think we need to figure that out sooner rather than later.
I've been saying that.
Yep.
I've been saying it since day one.
Yes, you have.
Right. Yep, we all have, and until we have more of a definitive answer on when closing and stuff like that's going to be and the sale.
I don't think that matters. I think that you can have a plan.
Right.
Without knowing about the closing or all that.
I understand that.
I mean, you can have a plan for when it sells, and you can have a plan for if it don't sell.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, regardless whether Mr. Horseman or if he doesn't get it, then Strawberry's going to get it. It's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have X amount of time to make a plan and things of that nature. But we're a year in, so I understand. But do we have anybody else here?
Wait a minute, ma'am, I give you all the credit. You did not get this guy down low. The night of the meeting, you said you felt like you were gonna be homeless. I remember those words exactly. And then, Michael, this is the thing I'm talking about. You're sitting there giving, if this man, you're gonna settle with him, you don't have to sell to. They have the option if you all decide to sell this building. You're bringing in $57,000 from the people in the back of this building.
Before electric, water, sewer. We take a loss on the water, sewer, and electric.
That contract can be renegotiated because it should have been because of all the expenses that you all have entailed over the years.
It's been that way since it first started.
That was when I started.
Yep.
Back in 2009.
Yep.
So sometimes some mayor with business sense should have said, hey, we need to renegotiate this contract.
Right, that's the only one I haven't renegotiated.
Okay, I'm not blaming you, I'm just saying. The items don't need to be kicked down the road no more. You have all this space in this building that you can rent. You don't need to move. But if you do move, you can't wait till 30 days or 60 days that they're gonna give you to move. You need to have a plan of where the building's gonna be, where, what renovations, and several cost estimates.
Right.
So these people can make a logical and correct decision.
Right. Not
just kick this can down the road since last November. This is what I'm saying. I sit down in my house and watch it, Facebook, and I talk to different members of the council because I run into them, citizens of the city. They come to me because I ran a very tight military ship when I was mayor. That's the only way I know. There's no gray, black and white. That's the way I am, even with my business and with my life. I'm just asking you, please, quit kicking things down the road and make some sound business decisions for the citizens of this city. And I'm leaving on that. Thank you for your time.
Anybody else here for public comment this evening? Not, we'll move on down. Stacy wasn't able to make it this evening. Is Stacy out there? Okay, come on in, Stacy. Sorry, I didn't see you. Come on in. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Got here late.
It's all right.
That's all I've got. I got the blacktop done about 2 weeks ago, and everything is turned out real well.
That's good.
We've got some of the bigger potholes patched that Cropper Paving done for us. He finished up last week, I believe. That's all I've got tonight.
Anybody have any questions for Stacy?
Has that, somebody said something to me about that dip right there in front of the nutrition spot. Has it been filled in recently? I thought so. It was like 2 weeks ago. I was supposed to mention that, and
Last week or the week before.
Friday before last, I believe.
Okay, thanks.
And you finished up down the street on Monday.
Yeah, and he got the entrance to Kentucky Court. He got the bad spot out here on Maplewood. Maybe a few other things too.
Entrance to Turner and
yeah, that's right.
Street and Devil Street.
Yeah.
But we still have several potholes. Every day it goes by, we get 2 weeks further behind. We're just swamped with.
I know that Hamilton Avenue looks really good. They actually did a really fast job.
They did.
Do we have any time frame on marking the lanes off there, the old subway at Whitaker Bank? You know, we had talked about, you know.
He had talked to
S&L as soon as they are able to do down by the old mill and then South Campbell, they've got a grinder. They're going to grind those things off too. But so they were acquired by a little bit larger business, so they've been in flux a little bit. But as soon as he can get to it, he's gonna take care of all those items for us.
They're in a little bit of transition.
Yeah.
With ownership. So.
Any other questions?
I'm supposed to call her sometime this week. We've been swamped today with other stuff, so I'll try to call her tomorrow and see what the status is of the bill sheets.
Anything else for
Anything
Stacy?
else?
Thanks, Stacy. Lieutenant?
Sir.
You're up, sir.
Good afternoon, Councilwoman, Councilman, and Mayor. I'll give you our summary and notes for the month of July. We had about a 14% drop in calls from the June stats. We opened up 34 new criminal investigations, 2 injury accidents we worked, and 10 non-injury accidents we worked. 3 guns were seized, and I do believe one of those was credited to our newest K9, who is still young but certified K9, who also has brought us just over 20 plus ounces of illegal narcotics in the month of July.
Which officer?
That would be K9 Wright, and Officer Allen is his handler. They're doing a really good job out there on the street. I hope they continue to keep their uptick in their trend that they're having right now. All right, Langston Police Department also had their annual Shop at the Cop softball tournament. 18 teams showed up. Participants played until they were rained out roughly about 4 p.m., I think. That being said, 73 pair of shoes were purchased from the proceeds of that event. We'd also like to give thanks to Don and Karen Wilbur, who organized the event. Officers Lake, Officers Josh Cheek, as well as Officer Kurt Mays. They spent a lot of time out there on the ball field grooming it. It looked really nice if you were able to attend and go out there and look around. I'd also like to thank Golden Wine's Barbershop for donating haircuts to the young boys of this area before school starts. And if I'm not mistaken, Blush and Ivy had also donated haircuts for the young ladies here in the community as well. I think our next event is going to be somewhere around November, where we're going to do where our Shop with the Cop, where a select amount of people are chosen so we can get them clothes, jackets, and things of that nature. I believe that's it. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I know it's 14 welfare checks. Is that common? Is that about average?
So we had an uptick this summer. Some of those children weren't even from here. We found that to be odd. We had one particular incident where a lady stated that they were the grandmother children. It turns out she was not. That happened here, obviously here in the city limits. That is not common from the last particular summers. That sometimes the welfare check is derived off of what we call a JC3. Maybe the child had some sort of mischief issues. We actually dispatch that JC3 out, protective service, child protective service and everything. They all get notified, so if they see something in there that doesn't sit well with them in our report, that will trigger them to come on out and give the parent or guardian a visit. But there was an uptick in that this year, Council.
Yes, sir. Can I ask a question? Regarding the flock cameras owned by the city?
Yes.
So the officers have access to the flock cameras in the city?
Yeah.
The city police?
Yes. Now, some of that's not exactly right. So I can't track you where you're going.
No, I understand. That's not my question. My question is, do you have a proper auditing system to verify queries made by your officers to help prevent misuse cases, such as I can cite many throughout the country, but there's many cases of officers tracking their ex, tracking their ex-wife, tracking their baby mother, 1,500 queries. Without a proper auditing system, I don't see how we can prevent the misuse by, and I'm not saying that the Lancaster Department has bad apples.
Right.
I have trust in our city police, but they are, we can't always separate the wheat from the chaff. Sometimes people
understand.
So do you have in place a proper auditing system to search the queries, make sure that they're legitimate queries? And also, the second question follow-up is, have you used the flock system to prevent any crime or make any arrests as of yet?
Well, I can't tell you this. The flock camera has made several, has recovered several stolen cars, a couple of fleeing and evading felony cases. It's got to led to the capture of some of those type people. There is a system. I can query it, and not only can I query it, it's what you can query it too.
So,
as a civilian.
As a civilian, I can.
Have I been flock.com?
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. True.
Well, you can query it too. But I can actually see. I can actually go in and see. There's going to be two different systems. I can actually go in there and see. I can see who did what, when, where, and why they did it. There also is another system that the FBI has in place because that intertangles with that as well. National Crime Database, or NCIC. That also has an audit that has to be done every so often. I don't get to see that audit. That's on the federal level. If anything that nature goes or not doesn't look correct, especially as you're speaking of somebody trying to track down their baby mamas or something, or me going in trying to track down an old, let's say, girlfriend or something. Yeah, that.
And it's actually more common. Those misuse cases have presented themselves way more than average, you would think. And it's human error. It's people. I'm bored. I wonder what my ex is doing. But you know, that's an invasion of privacy, in my opinion, of the Fourth Amendment. And I was just wondering if the city police department had in place a regular audit system to just go through the queries and make sure that we don't have any bad apples out there looking for, hey, this guy has a bumper sticker on the back of his truck that says Trump. Because they do capture, you know, not only license plates, but any other signage you would have.
Ours is not that advanced. Our system's triggered off, let's say, we may get a bolo, drunk driver, maybe somebody was knocked off the road, hit and injured. Hopefully we can find that person using that system. But there has to be something in that system to trigger us to do that, try to locate that person, and then we can upload them into the system.
Okay.
You have a question, Mr. Chair?
No, I was gonna say, perhaps somebody walks into a bank, murders two people and leaves, and flock cameras catch them within 6 hours.
Oh, no,
They did that.
I fully agree, and that's a big win for Flock. I understand, and we all want to see crime solved, and mainly we want preventative measures. You know, preventative measures. That the Flock system didn't save those people's lives. It did catch the perpetrator.
It may have saved other lives.
Possibly, but you know, that's semantics. It might have, it might not. You know, we're just looking at preventative measures, and I'm just trying to ensure that the city has the citizens in mind to run a proper audit on the system to make sure that it's not being in misuse.
Right, understood.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Who authorized the installation of the flock cameras in the city?
The council did.
The council did some time ago, I think.
Over a year and a half ago, the council did.
Are the plans to have more?
At this time, no, ma'am. Yeah, Chief Hughes came on multiple occasions and discussed the partnership between us and the sheriff's office, that we were going to partner on the installation of them and also partner, and I'm seeing a lot of head shakes, and also partner on the yearly subscription to this. Now, if it's something we want to readdress, that's fine, but I believe it was early to mid 2025, there was 2 or 3, 4 different occasions, I believe, where these conversations happened.
That's something I missed.
Yeah, and I understand. I mean, we can't remember everything. But yes, it was discussed with the council. I believe, I even remember, I believe we paid for it out of forfeiture funds, the initial startup, so it did not come out of taxpayer money. But we definitely hear your all's side of it. We hear your thoughts, your opinions on it, and it is definitely something that we can.
It's a double-edged sword.
It is, yes, sir.
We all want safer cities. We all want criminals to be apprehended. That we can all agree on that. But we also want to, maintain our dignity, our privacy. I understand that the roadways are a public space, and I get all that. I'm just hoping that we ensure misuse remains at a very minimum. And that's, that's definitely my biggest concern. It's a slippery slope, and I don't want to get into that. Cameras on the road today, cameras in your home in 5 years, thought crimes, you disagree with a certain government movement, that's where China's at. And we're not trying to go down that road, but today, mainly it's about the misuse. I just want to hope to stress that we can provide a level of auditing system where we can help minimize misuse in our community.
Very well understood, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Any other questions for the lieutenant this evening?
I just would like to clarify, are you just saying you'd like a regular monthly, bi-monthly, third-party audit? Or even maybe further distance apart, but just a regular third-party audit for our city?
I'm not saying that we have to hire out a third-party system.
Right.
I think it could be something that could be done in-house. We trust our chief, we trust our,
Okay.
But I do think that an audit, at least bi-monthly or twice a year, should be done to make sure that we're not getting queries of misuse. Each query requires a notation of why that query is being input, and a lot of these misuse cases are showing that there's no intent put into the, while we're doing this query. It's being left blank. And so then,
For example, if I make a traffic stop out here on Lexington Street, and I plug in your license plate or your driver's license, there's a timestamp that comes with that. It'll tell whoever audits me right now. It'll tell me that it'll say Lieutenant Taylor, this particular time, this license number is at this particular location, and it's there.
right.
I can pull that back anytime. Take a look at it.
So you said you could audit that. Would that be a public record or would that be a private
We
record?
can't make that public record, because if I do that, I'm gonna start violating federal statutes
Right.
for me as a police officer,
Right.
okay? Because that's gonna have people's personal,
Yes.
that's people's personal
Yes.
information. So, like, I have to take a course and sign an agreement that I'm not gonna share that with anybody, literally. It goes back to a system that we call NCIC, is how all that information, all your information gets reeled in by the federal government.
So you're saying anytime an officer enters anyone's information, there's a timestamp
There's a
placed on it?
timestamp. Sure is.
That's even when you access the flock database.
Every time.
Okay.
Any other questions for the lieutenant? Thank you, sir.
You have one.
I have a non-block related question. if possible.
Oh, yes.
As we get over with.
Okay.
Hey, what was your question, sir?
Could we possibly arrange like a public meeting of the officers? Just, I don't know any of our officers. I don't know, they said there's 20 sheriff employees. I know that's separate, but it'd be nice to just have the opportunity to meet some of our law enforcement.
Sure, feel free to come down. There's usually only a few of us on each shift.
Right.
It's usually me and maybe 2 other officers on the shift at a time, but feel free to come by anytime.
Just by the police department?
Yeah, now, I'm out. I've got a highway safety meeting tomorrow in Lexington, but I will be back by 2 p.m.
Thank you all. Mr. Scheer, you want to give us a ordinance update this evening? And I apologize, I didn't put you on the agenda again, but
That's all right, just, I'm the little guy in the corner.
it's all good.
Hope everybody have a good night tonight. Mine won't take too long. Month of July, I just want to let you know that I have opened up 56 cases of the grass ordinance and weeds. We have 1 resolved so far. I have 4 cases of junk, 1 business license. I had 21 cases of miscellaneous different things that was going on. Now, I will let you know that due to unpaid fines on some of these, I have had to place encumbrances on 8 pieces of property within the city. That was done at the courthouse, so that's unpaid fines. I give them 2 notices and several citations before it gets to the point that it has to be done. I talked to planning and zoning about some blighted property. I thought they was gonna be here tonight, but I do wanna make notation that one of those pieces of property was sold and is now being cleaned up and taken care of. As well as the weeds and grass in the yards, I have started hitting some of the places and trying to get everybody I can, start cleaning up the borders and property lines of the properties. So try to get some of the fence rows cleaned back where it doesn't look overgrown.
How many blotted properties do we have currently?
I didn't bring that with me, but off the top of my head, I can tell you we have 5. One of those has been on blighted property list for over 1.5 years that I know of. That is one that was being brought before you guys to see if we can move on that. I know for a fact it's been 1.5 years. I don't know how much longer it has. Some of the paperwork wasn't in the file at the time I looked, so I started back over the 90-day notification of them and basically pretending like it was day 1 and went back through the motions on that again.
So can it not be public knowledge which one sold?
It can be. It was sold at a master commissioner sale. It was 194 Totten Avenue.
Is that on the very end?
Yes. If you're at the corner where the brick is sitting at and look across at a diagonal, is the one that has all the trees growing up in the front. You about couldn't see the house. There's so much trees and brush around.
The little white house?
Yes. I do not know who bought it. We sold it Friday.
What about 113 Pine Hill? What we standing on that?
113 Pine Hill, I'm still waiting on the attorney. Yes.
Well, as I told you last month, I work into a lot of that this month because my other schedules. But I spoke with Mr. Land and we'll start moving on it this month.
I know it's a major concern in that area.
Yes, it is. We're going through the processes. Any other questions?
Yes, I want to know, how can the city start selling one when they got property, they not cleaning theirs up?
We are trying to get the properties cleaned up. I think we're waiting on some surveys.
City-owned property.
Yeah, I think we're waiting on some surveys to see what properties are owned.
Yeah, so if you're referencing the old road bed or the other property that we own down off of the one in the corner. Yeah, because this council's discussed it quite a bit before. Until we get those surveys put in, and Rick's very good about giving leniency on a lot of the properties as far as that goes, as long as there's being cleaned up and showing progress towards them, then we'll give a little bit of leeway there. But until we get our actual survey boundaries done, it's hard for us to come in and clean up a property because we don't want to impede on somebody else's property. But I do understand where you're coming from for sure.
I've been about this for years.
Yeah, and
Ain't no excuse for it.
we hear what you're saying. Yes, sir.
One other question.
I got one about it.
Clarification on the grass. Is it the city's responsibility, the grass that grows up in the curb, from the curb to the street, is that the city's responsibility to take care of?
Where the blacktop meets the concrete sidewalk, is my understanding that is the city. But
So
from the
with
sidewalk,
streets with the grass growing up in the streets or curbs that we really need to take care of?
yeah, and I think that's being worked on, it's being sprayed, isn't it?
It's being sprayed pretty regularly, but with all the rain, a lot of homeowners will take care of it themselves. Some won't. Which again, if it's curb and gutter, or if it's just curb and blacktop, sometimes with the rain, that grass and weeds and stuff will grow up. But we do have people who are actively out and spraying those, just like the square and things of that nature. But with the rain, it has been a little bit harder this year to stay on top of all that.
Yeah, I know the Amber Street's pretty bad.
Yeah, it is.
The look at it will be state.
It is a state road, but it is, if it's sidewalk that meets blacktop, then it's the homeowner's responsibility. If it's curb and gutter that meets blacktop, then it is technically the city's responsibility. So there's a little bit of nuance there as far as what that looks like. But we have been working on getting all that sprayed throughout the year.
We have one more question here.
Yeah, there's a property down there by me, right across the First Baptist.
You showed me.
Yes.
It's the back of the Ace Hardware, I think, is that right?
I'm sorry?
It's the back of Ace Hardware, or a hardware store?
Garrett
Auto Parts.
Auto Parts, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do they do about that?
Where are we at there?
Right now, he is on his second notification that it has to be cleaned up. Next steps will be a citation if it isn't done.
Well, I mean, you know, the officers has been down there a few times. I don't know whether people's hiding down there or whatever, because they have to go down there sometimes, I know, and drag people out or whatever. And I got kids down there too.
And I think it's
that needs to be done.
something we're gonna look at, I think, is maybe to open up the timeline so that it doesn't take forever to get citations.
Right there, we're functioning on a timeline. It's a little ways out there. But I will say that I have been down there several times, walking through there, trying to locate people, but it's a forest down there.
I know it is, yeah, that's why I'm up here as well.
I've talked to Garrett Hardware, yeah, I've talked to James and Glenn and Garrett Automotive. I've also talked to the homeless shelter about trying to get some of it cleaned up over there. But all that comes in and butts together right in
Who owns that property?
there. Behind Garrett Automotive,
Well, whoever's getting the notices.
Jamerson Flint on that piece of property.
Yes,
Yeah. I'm working on it, but my timeline is stretched out.
well, I'll let belongs to whoever, I mean, I can see, if he bought it from Mr. Joy, Mr. Joy used to own it. He kept it clean.
Any other questions?
Thanks, sir. Chief Whited, you out there?
Yes.
Come on in.
This month we had, the fire department had 53 calls. Mutual aid, we went to Fall League for a car fire to aid the county. They didn't have the staffing for it at the time. Our training, we had 5 trainings throughout the month. We covered some rescue stuff this month with not as much fire. We did some rope rescue rappelling, some rope rescue patient packaging and building haul systems, block and tackle, basically 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1, mechanical advantages, things like that. We did vehicle stabilization, or vehicles on the side, vehicles on the roof, as well as then extricating. Once we did the stabilization one week and then the extrication the next week, and we've also done some driver's training. Last month showed up and we had 3 people that had passed their EMT class to get out of class, and 2 of them had passed the National Registry. And as of now, all 3 of them have passed their National Registry, or 3 National Registered EMTs on the department that we can add to assist EMS whenever they need us, or whenever they're short or have a significant call. We can go out on and have people trained to help them. We had 4 special events this month. We did the fireworks at the nursing home right up here. And then we had the fireworks show at the fairgrounds that we did, and a demolition derby and a truck pull. Wettest truck pull I've ever been to. Rained 4 feet.
How does the mental health community involvement project going?
We're gathering people to see who from what department. The International Association of Firefighters has a class that the 2 people that are on my department are going to do that. They're going through it. And I'm not sure, I'd have to talk to David and Taylor to see how many people and who they are from those departments. I know she said that night that she had 8 or 10 people text her that were interested in it, but I'm not sure who they are. I'll let David and her handle that part of it and see what they're going to run with. But as far as the training, it's going to be through the International Association of Firefighters is the first step. And then what I figured out from talking to the chief from Danville Fire Department that came over, Chief McCurdy, there's a whole host of other trainings that they can get into through the, I forget the organization that it was, but it's the Men the Line program is what he works with. And the person that started that is Officer Kirkpatrick, and Stanford's his wife. She's a therapist, Sonia. So she's gonna be there for us. And like there has to be, if we have an actual incident where we have to sit down and talk to somebody or something like that, have a debrief, there's supposed to be a licensed therapist there. I think Sonia's going to be that for us. Like she's going to be available if we need her and come up and have those meetings when we have to.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Parks and Rec, we had 6 people apply for that open position. I have been working on the interviews to fill that spot. Should have it filled within the next week or so, but I can give a little bit of an update. We did just finish football registration. One thing we started new this year with football is we offered girls flag football all the way up through 8th grade, I believe. So a lot of other local areas are doing that too. So I think that was a big hit, but they've already started giving out equipment and things of that nature. So that's good. We just opened up baseball and softball fall ball registration as well, and then soccer registration is open. So there's going to be a very extensive lineup of fall sports out at the ballpark. So we're definitely excited about that. It's going to be a fun time out there with everything going on in that regard.
Any questions from anybody about Parks and Rec or anything?
Who's filling in?
Right now, the park board is filling in, and I will say, big shout out to Mr. Cheek back there. Him and Officer Mays and a few others put a lot of work into the ballpark to get ready for the Shop with the Cop softball tournament that we had out there. And I believe I heard multiple people talk about how great the park looked and how excited they were that some of the changes that we've made over the last few years as far as the way it looked and some of the upgrades and things of that nature. So big thank you to him and Officer Mays and a few others that helped out quite a bit out there. Any other questions about Parks and Rec? If not, we'll move on down to old business. We've kind of already touched on it a little bit. Jonathan, have you heard anything on City Hall as far as from the legal perspective of what we're kind of going through with that?
I have not. As I said, I didn't do much on it this month. I had some stuff going on this month. I knew I couldn't put a lot of time to it, but last time I spoke with them, again, the same answer I always get is, we're gonna send you something I have not received yet.
Yeah.
But I will contact him and have a better answer for you for next month.
So how long are we gonna let him say that?
Well, that's something we just need to sit down and talk about as a council, what the different options would be. I mean, certainly it's been.
I mean, it's time.
Correct, it's been more than long enough, yes.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll get into this a little bit more in a minute down on number 3 on new business, but sometime between now and the end of the month, we're going to have another meeting. And that's probably, Jonathan's going to need to be something on the meeting is what we're going to do to move forward with pushing the City Hall narrative as far as that goes. The reason we'll have to have another meeting is we just got the stuff for the 2026 tax rates as far as the documentation to actually approve those rates. Now, years past, we've always just approved them as is, but those have to be to the county, I believe, by the 1st of September, because they send those out at the latest September 15th. But that's definitely something that we can add to that. So the next couple of weeks, we can get something moving on City Hall. That definitely would be good there, because I don't disagree with you at all. We've given more than enough time as far as that goes to get something done. But that'll definitely be in that meeting as well. Number 2, so last month we had kind of talked about the light project for the ballpark and had some options as far as what that looked like. We've all had an opportunity to look through what those options are. Anybody have any questions or have any recommendations as far as that goes? Because I know we selected the vendor, but in your packet you should see something from Kentucky Bond Corp, Whitaker, Farmers, and First Southern as far as the 4 entities that is an option for that project.
Well, like I said, I've been against the lights, but looking at the finance end of it, because the council has approved it, I feel like the Kentucky bond would be, as far as the interest rates go and everything, would be the best option of the 4.
It is. I mean, and I agree with you on that, because you can, what they allow, and from a timing perspective, that one probably would require the most time in order to get something done, because I don't know if I explained this before, but with that bond council, basically what they do is they wait till they have a lot of projects in a bucket, and then they send it out, and all these investors will basically bid on these projects. And then when they do that, when they have an agreement, then they'll sell those bonds, and that's where you get these rates. So with the bond council, of course, it's through KLC. And, we've used Dinsmore before that would be able to manage those things for us if that's what you all chose to do. But you could go 10, 15, or 20 years. I think 15 would be good, my personal opinion, but it's like 4%. interest rate on that. So it makes that yearly payment about $20,000 less than if you did a 10-year. But the caveat to that is, the other option, my second recommendation, just for you all to know, would be farmers. And the reason I say that is just because that's who we have all of our accounts with currently. That would be a shorter process. It would be a local bank. They already have all of our financial information. So it would be a significantly quicker turnaround on being able to start that project. But one of those two options would be my recommendation. It would just depend on if y'all wanted to look at something that was 10 years or maybe something that was a little bit longer, just to have that burden a little bit lower every year, if that's the way you looked at it from a payment perspective.
What was the interest rate on the 20-year?
On the 20, 4.3. So it equates to roughly $9,000 less a month to go another 5 years. A month a year, yet less a year. Sorry, I misspoke.
The bond rate was anywhere from 1.5% to 2% cheaper than locals.
Farmers was 4.75 for 5 years, and then it adjusted based on prime. So a 4.75, if you looked at that, it was less than 1% difference, but then after 5 years, it adjusted based on prime, not to go below 4.75.
But the bond rate is a fixed interest rate, whereas
It is.
others are variable, because it could be 4.75, but in 5 to 10 years, it could be 6, 7, 8%. So
Yeah.
I'm for a fixed rate.
Yeah, and again, I mean,
Whatever that is.
on that fixed rate, you could do 10 at 3.85, 15 for 4.06, or even 20 for 4.03. And if y'all remember on that light project, we did go with the option to do a 25-year parts and labor warranty on it. So I don't know that I personally would recommend we go 20 just because, but I think 15 is a pretty good number. If the bond council was the rate that you all chose to go with. So I think my recommendation would probably be the 15-year at the 4.06%, and that's based on 550,000 project. I think it was right around that, maybe 555 tops, but that would be my recommendation if going 15. Or even 10 probably, but just understand that time frame of getting the project started is going to be a little longer than if we were to go local.
I don't know if this is out of line or not, but, in the beginning, I was wanting to find donations prior to even doing this, and you all said you have to have a project set before people usually get to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do we plan to do that?
Even when you have a funding source, you still can solicit donations or any type of funding outside of that. Like say you went to somebody and they said, hey, I want to give $15,000 to this project. Well, you have a yearly payment, so they could give $15,000, and when you make your payment, instead of paying $54,000, you would pay $39,000 with their 15 added to it.
Was the county ever approached making a contribution?
There's been a little bit of discussion, not anything too extensive, and mainly just because they do give the $30,000 currently, which we greatly appreciate, but all of the property is city owned and maintained. I'm not saying that isn't a discussion that can't be had.
It needs to be had.
But it is something that could be had in the near future.
So I'll be recusing myself from the vote for obvious reasons, but I do want to say,
Understood.
I do want to say for me personally, I would like to see it so shortest term a vote, and then, there's several options in here, but at the interest rates that we're looking at, I agree that a fixed rate would be the best option.
Thank you.
So you'd say 10 year?
Correct me if I'm wrong, what was the number that was budgeted? Was it 80?
I budgeted, I believe it was between 75 and 80 on a 10-year. Yeah.
If you look at Judge Boncourt's kind of breakdown, if you look at the overall total, you can tell what that difference is within 5 years.
Yeah.
And if the money is budgeted, that's not.
I got you. I agree.
So if there was to be a motion made, Jonathan, correct me if I'm wrong, but it could all be done in one motion. Say you all wanted to go with the 10-year through the Kentucky Bond Corp, then make the motion to approve that. And also, I would ask that you all give me the ability to work with Kentucky Bond Corp and the attorneys at Dinsmore who we've worked with before in order to compile an ordinance and things of that nature to be able to bring back to you all based on what you all approve from the financial side of things. Does that sound fine to you, Jonathan?
Yes, I think I just approved the lender rate and term and authorize mayor to execute any other documents required to complete.
And of course, this does take 2 ordinance readings in order to do that, just so we're all aware.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 10-year term by Kentucky Bond Corp. And that the mayor is able to negotiate the lender rate and terms. That suffice.
Need to execute any documentation.
And execute documentation.
I mean, he made a good point, so there's that.
Yeah.
So there's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any other further discussion? No? Roll call, please, Teresa, just because we had somebody say they had to abstain.
Yes.
Joe Naylor,
Yes.
Michelle Blue,
I guess.
Michael Wade,
Same.
Brandon McGuire,
Yes.
Marshall Norton.
I want to make sure, I'm voting no on the lights, but I'm voting yes on the finance because the council has approved the lights, so my recommendation is bond.
Yeah, this is fine.
Thank you all. Motion carries. I will get in contact with them this week and let you all know if they need anything else. All right, new business number 1. All right, so we got, of course, we sent out for bid the meter project, but I know nobody's, talked about our water stuff lately.
You have a problem with water meters?
Maybe. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know there is some legit concern. I completely understand it, and we are addressing that. So we put out the bids for the meters themselves, as well as the installation portion of that. And then we also put out for bid to clean out the lagoon down behind the water plant. The lagoon that we were informed when we built said plant that we would never have to clean out. Well, it opened in late 21, early 2022, and here we are. So unless one of these is labeled wrong, I don't believe we got any bids back to clean out the lagoon, even though I talked to probably 20 different companies. So I'll open all of these, and of course, what I'll have Teresa do is once I open them, I'll get her to scan them all in and send all this to you all so that you have them, because it looks like there's going to be quite a bit of different things. So any questions before I?
But if we have no bids on cleaning out the lagoon, what is our course of action?
Then our course of action with no bids, we could solicit something directly from a person that may be willing to do it, or we put it back out for bid. So
Because, we're full.
we're
And
getting,
we're into the old city lake, so.
we're getting
we
full
need to do
bids.
something.
Right. Do you have a comment, Bill, or did you say you wanted to do it?
It's over full, it's over into the whole lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something needs to be done.
Right. So our solution for that would be either go directly to someone and basically beg them to do it, or put it back out for bid on a short-term basis and then go from there.
Well, who's done it in the past?
We haven't had to do it in the past. We weren't supposed to have to do it. But because of the space parameters around where they built the plant at, we only were able to put one lagoon in there. Usually what they do is do 2 or 3 or 4 holding ponds so that they flow over into each other and the sediment stays in one, you clean it out and use the other one. So if, before I go on with this, y'all want to send it back out for maybe a 7-day period, and then also contact, and we have a few people that we can contact directly and see what they would charge to do it, and then possibly bring it back to you all and say, hey, this is the only person that may be willing to do it, this is the cost, what do you want to do? Because to Bill's point, it does have to be done.
Yeah. Send it out.
Okay. This is Badger meter.
Do we need to make a motion to resend it out?
Yeah, we do, just for the record, I do.
Yeah, so go ahead and do that if you want to. Make a motion.
We'll make a
Before we
motion
move on.
to resend the bids out for cleaning up the lagoon.
Okay, motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll get that out tomorrow. This one is Badger meter. The bidder is FPG. And again, I'll have Teresa send all this out to you all tomorrow as well, because it's going to be a lot of information. This is just replacing the meters. We'll just go to the important stuff back here. Cost. So total cost on this one, making sure there's not an actual installation of this, is just the meters. Looks like $771,704. $771,704. And that's just meters, just meters. And that's FPG with Badger meters. This one doesn't say who it is on it. Allegiant, it's a spares company. That's what it says on there. Nice little booklet here. Let's see. Just the meters themselves, $234,718 and $19.
19 cents.
$234,718 and 19 cents. That's just for.
That's just for the meters?
Double check.
They're not going to install.
That's a big difference.
A huge difference.
Yeah, that's $500,000.
It must not include the installation.
The first one didn't either.
Oh, the first one didn't either?
The first one was just the meters.
Who did we get to install?
That was part of it as well. Yeah. Well, part of it was an option. We can show that off. Yeah, so that's their price on that. It doesn't. That's the meter replacement. That's not for the meters. That's just to replace them. So $234,718, $19 just to replace the meters.
Yeah, it's the installation.
It's the installation.
That's the installation. Well, what about the meters?
So they had the option that they could replace, they could bid on the meters themselves, selling the meters basically. They could bid on the meters and the installation, or they can just bid on the installation.
It's nice to install it.
So this one's from Master Meter, Ferguson. Let's see. All right, so just for the meters themselves, for Ferguson Waterworks is $568,914.
And that's just the
That's
meter.
just the meters. And I'm assuming this other envelope is probably gonna be the installation. Because it's the same envelope. With the same guy that brought it. Did everybody get that number? And again, I'll send all this out. So that you have it.
Teresa's gonna be sending that scanner for a long time.
I don't think you all want this on the phone.
All right, this one, let's see. So this one is from the same company. It looks like there's just a little bit of a difference in they did a different type of meter. So this is Ferguson Waterworks as well, but it's Master Meter is the meter company. So this one's $733,316.55. And this looks like a bid replacement from Marcy Excavating. So it looks like Sammy Marcy put a bid in for the labor services, the installation only, to replace, he estimated at 2,000 meters at $100,000 for the installation. That's $50 a meter. So far that appears to be the only installation bid we've received.
No, we had the Allegiant.
I'm sorry, yeah. Installation only, yeah, I guess, right. Other than the other was 200 something. This one is from Integrity Water and Energy. Don't see. Okay, so this is just for installation, $110,316, and they based it on, looks like roughly 1,850 meters.
We have 1875.
Roughly, I mean, we have a little under 1850, but when we put it out, we said 1850 because we've got one more being built every month. So 110,316 for Integrity Water and Energy. This one's Consolidated Pipe and Supply. Total bid for consolidated pipe is $631, $249, and 12 cents.
That'll be for both.
It's just meters.
It's just meters.
Just meters.
Yep, I'm gonna look through it just to make sure. I didn't see an install charge on there. Yep. Anybody need that number again? $631, $249, and 12 cents. This is from Metron.
What was it?
Metron.
Metro.
Me a knife. Me a knife.
Screw that one. It's a book. All right, let's see. That's nice. Where's the sheet I need? This one may take me just a minute. Pricing is 27. All right. So this is for the equipment and software. So for where these are cellular meters, some of them will have the cellular stuff, software all included. You don't have any additional cost, but they kind of broke this out a little bit on here. So just for the meters themselves with 10 years of service, so that's the cellular service that you have to have for all the meters. Their 10-year price based on 1,900 meters is $630,000, $140 even. And then they also offered a 20-year price that included software and everything, cellular connectivity for 20 years, and it's $753,575. No installation on that one either. This is Flow Pros. Pricing green. And this is labor only, so the installation of all the meters based on roughly 1,850 meters, $146,025, no cents. And that is all of them. So I know that's a lot to digest. So like I said, I'll have Teresa scan all that in and send all that out to you all tomorrow so that you can have some leisure reading and things as you wish. Any questions about any of those?
Can we put a decision on that special meeting that you were talking about in 2 weeks, or do you need to move
Do y'all
forward?
think that's enough time to be able to look through all that information and come back with?
You need to pretty quick, don't you?
We got to get funded.
Yeah, we do. But that was the second, that was,
Them bids, some of them are failure meters, some of them drive-by meters.
yeah.
Same with installation, some of it's installation, I don't think some of them companies, they have a program. They do all the computer work. They
Yeah.
go to the thumb drive, and they're done, stick the thumb drive in the computer, and it's all systems good.
Yeah,
So
so,
it's not something we need to spend some time on, right?
The low bids are just putting meters in the ground, that's no paperwork.
yeah.
Somebody has to go do the paperwork.
That's why I like the
Yeah.
Metron bid, because it has the 10
Let's
year.
take some study time.
Yeah.
Some meters are drive-by meters.
It's fine.
Like we got now, some of them are sale rate meters, we talk about the rate once a month, same time.
Yeah, I would say, so from a funding perspective, best case scenario would be, that we submit for an ARC grant. Usually we may get about 50% of the project roughly with that. And then outside of an ARC grant, I'd given you all some documentation last month. You could do a Fund F or a Fund B. A Fund B type project loan is a lot easier to get than a Fund F, but either one of those is a 1% interest rate. So I talked to Bluegrass Ad to see what available options there are, but on something like this, my recommendation would be that we push for the ARC. It requires submitting a application and things of that nature. You're talking probably early spring of next year before a decision is made. Submit for that, and at the same time, look at Fund B and Fund F options to offset the difference there, because at a 1% interest rate on whatever is left, that would be the route I would recommend. And if you are okay with it, I can continue to pursue those options while you all have time to evaluate, and while Stacy has time to look at all of these as well. Yeah.
Type of meter, some of the bids are the drive-by meters, cheap one.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are the sale rate meters. And then you got to deal with the software issues, annual fees, some have annual fees, some have no fees, some have posting fees, some have per meter fees.
Yep. Yep.
Drive-by or sale rate, what we have now, per meter fee, drive-by, they pay a month.
Okay.
Same with installation, some of them are just putting meters in the ground, some has to do paperwork. Some of them will do all the paperwork for you. They have an iPad. They'll come down, load the bill of software, with all the names and addresses, and everything else, and they'll all switch it up for us.
Yeah, so I would say probably we'll bring it back the next regular meeting in September. Give Stacy time to look through it, all y'all time to look through it, because I met with a few of them, but he met with the majority.
Not all of them come by, but
Yeah.
some of them come by, and
Yeah.
installer, one installer, and
Yep.
Where are most of these places from?
A few of them are from Kentucky. The Integrity I know is out of Indiana, but the majority of them are here in Kentucky.
all wrote that Indiana, but all three, we usually place that away.
Yeah. There's some out of Ferguson and a few others.
Ferguson without Somerset.
Yeah. Any other questions on that?
How long is the bids good for?
So usually, and all the ones.
Ones I talked to, I said, look, we'll get bids, we got
Yeah.
some kind of price, and get some funding, I said, we'll look at 10, 12 months.
Yep.
That time comes, we'll have to pay the price.
Yeah, we have to have the initial pricing in order to send it to ARC and for funding. Yeah.
Estimated price to secure funding, and after that, once we bid, we get the option.
Yeah, once a selection is made, then we can keep the pricing updated every 90 days if we need to do that. But yeah, my recommendation would be that give you all time to look over them, bring them back next month, give Stacy time to look over them and go from there.
Hardly the rides and anything extra. So once you know, you replace all your locks and you may replace mine. And all that. Part of them has to be dug out.
Any other questions on that? If not, we'll move on down. All right, number 2, Bluegrass Ad agreements. So there are 2 agreements that Bluegrass Ad sent me that should be in your all's packets. They both are contractual agreements. So one of them is for the ARC application for the sewer extension project, and the other one is for the Bluegrass Ad and a few other funding options, basically stating that we are okay with them utilizing their services and any fees. I think it's $85,000 total in fees that they gather by being the ones who actually do all of the parameters around submitting these grants, facilitating the project as far as paying everybody out, and then making sure that the project gets finalized. But these 2 agreements are for the sewer extension project. So my ask for the council is to allow me to sign these agreements to get them back to Bluegrass Ad. Again, none of that money comes directly from us. It comes out of the ARC or the other type of funding that we have for the project. The Bashir funding, not Bashir, BAR funding that we've got as well for it's roughly a $3.2 million project for that sewer extension project. Any questions or anything on that ask on those 2 agreements?
No comments on the agreement, but exactly what are we doing with the sewer extension? What are we replacing and where's it going?
So it's basically all of the northwestern part of the city. It's going to replace 2 of the older pump stations. It's going to put in about 16,000 linear feet of new sewer line. Part of that's going to be force main. So it's going to replace the pump station down by the distillery on the other side of the church. And it's going to run off the Hill Court one. It's going to run around down behind Pin Oak, and it's going to go down to Teeter Farm, all the way down to Linwood, down 52, and then down to the sewer plant. But it's roughly 16,000 linear feet of sewer line, 2 old pump stations. And what it's going to do is these pump stations are going to be a little bit bigger. So as the bypass is going to come through, it's going to give us more capacity on this side of town to be able to expand out towards the bypass.
It allows us to tap into the.
Yes.
To the.
Yeah.
Bypass.
Yep.
Okay.
Comes down on Waterworks Road.
Yep.
Yeah, we had talked.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No. I move to allow the mayor to sign these applications.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. And like I mentioned earlier, so we just got the documentation, the official documentation from the state on the tax rate for the upcoming year. I believe the county has to get these sent out by the middle of September. So if you look in your packet, there should be a sheet based on last year's rates, and I'm just asking that we just approve them as is, no changes. I don't believe they've been changed in some time now, but it will break down in there what those rates are. Whereabouts in the package did you put those? Very last page. I think I moved my papers around. That's my own fault.
These are the same as last year.
Yes, sir. Yep, exactly. I moved too many papers around. Yep, they're the same rates as last year. I believe these have been the same rates for
10, 12 years.
Probably 10, 12 years, yeah. It just talks about real property, tangible property, automobiles, boats. And I don't recommend any changes to it. And this does require 2 readings. That's why I stated earlier that we may need to come back and have a quick meeting sometime before the end of this month, maybe within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
I make a motion, we approve.
Okay, motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. So we had sent out on the water bills that I put it under new business, just so you are aware, but we'd sent out, usually, every year we always do a citywide yard sale whenever the 127 yard sale is. And on the billings, the water bills, we put the 7th through the 9th. But I remember last year that we actually did the Thursday through. So I put back, and just to make sure that you are okay with doing the citywide yard sale August 6th to the 9th. And that's where people don't have to actually have a permit to do a yard sale. But it would be for 4 days.
Thursday through Sunday?
Thursday through Sunday. For anybody this Thursday through the following Sunday that wants to do a yard sale in town, they can do it and not have to pay the $10 yard sale permit fee. Anybody have any concerns or anything over that? All good there? Okay. We'll move on down to the mayor's report. Saturday's the barbecue festival on the square. It starts at 12 through 8. Things are going to start setting up roughly around 9, 10 o'clock. They've got double-digit vendors coming from barbecue perspective, so make sure you come with your belly growling, because there's going to be plenty of food for everybody to partake in. There's going to be some other vendors up there. I think the Chamber's doing some stuff. The Grand Theater is doing some things as well. But should be a good day. Hopefully the weather holds out. And then number 2 there, beautification committee. I've been talking to quite a few different business owners and just residents around town. And one thing that we've kind of been talking about is, planning for the future and what things may be able to look like once the bypass and stuff comes around. So one thing I've been talking to the state about as well for the last couple of years is, once we do get the bypass, what does that look like to possibly get the circle back in town, if that's something that the community wants. So something that I would like to do, and I've already kind of started talking to some people, is get some local business owners and residents together, just form a little non-official committee and kind of see what kind of ideas they may have of what they want the town to look like over the next 5, 10, 15 years from the center of town perspective. Is people interested in maybe the circle coming back eventually, when we have a lot of the traffic outside of town that's going around the bypass. But I just wanted to kind of give you all an update on that, see if y'all had any feedback as far as that goes, because I think the historical nature of having that circle back would be kind of neat in town, but it's not necessarily something that everybody may be sold on. But just kind of giving you all an update on, those are some of the things I've been working on as far as that goes. Any feedback or issues with just having those discussions from anybody on the council?
I've been traveling to Somerset for work for the past 3 days, and they have a little circle in downtown, and it's really nice, and it's passable because of their bypass.
Right. Yeah, and there's been some, there's a lot of investment that's going on the square. There's a lot of business coming in, and people are making things look a little more, keep it up a little bit more, making them look a little bit nicer. And some of the suggestions have been possibly looking at moving utilities underground if possible, maybe look at redoing some of the sidewalks, stuff of that nature. And then if we're able to get the circle back in town, what does that look like? Just to kind of have that historical aspect to things.
You're aware of what 3 or 4 years ago that there was a committee on bringing the circle back?
There was.
My concern would be like 18-wheelers, say coming from Richmond,
right,
going through that square,
yeah,
and making a turn, or coming from Somerset, where
yeah,
you can't make the
Yeah, that's definitely something that would have to be looked at. I know that when we have, Danville Street and Richmond Street and stuff closed off, where they have to go through some of the side roads and things of that nature, every now and then we may lose a stop sign because of an 18-wheeler taking a sharp curve. But with proper planning and things of that nature, having routes that they can go around, not having to come through town, I think could facilitate a lot of that not coming through the middle of town. But again, that's where, people would have to look at it and study it, and the state would have to be involved. But I think it's something that we need to start looking at now, just because there's a lot of people interested in some of those type of changes. So that way we can plan for when the bypass is here. We're not waiting till it gets here to actually possibly have some of that stuff in the works.
When is the bypass coming?
They're doing right-of-way acquisitions, and I believe last I seen, I think they're going to start doing property acquisition first of the year, end of this year, first of the year, if I remember seeing that correctly from the state. So I would say within the next 4 to 6 years, probably, without putting a definitive date on it, because things may speed up, things may slow down. But it is actively being worked on. Moving on down, number 3, I know last month I gave you all a sheet that had the streets on it that I was hoping to submit for funding. I added all the ones that I've been told since then. I believe we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 now. So if anybody can think of any other additional streets that are on here, this is due in October. So again, how that process works is we have to take pictures every 300 feet of these streets, and then it gets submitted to the state, and then the legislator is the ones who chooses which roads do or don't get paid. But we was able to get 5 of them done this past session. So if we can get 5 more done this next session, then I think that's a huge win. But if y'all have any more to add to that, once you get a chance to look at it further, you can let me know. But other than that, anybody got anything else? No? We'll move on. Do I hear a motion to pay the monthly signed bills? Motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Is there a motion to dismiss?
I'll make it.
Motion by Michelle. Is there a second?
A second.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank y'all.
Snapshot of them.